There is a wrong way and a right way to be selfish. Stick around and I'll tell you how. Greetings. My name is Joseph Yagar. Welcome to another Life in Perspective broadcast. My objective is to provide thought-provoking discussions so you can optimize your perspective on life. My father called me selfish ever since I can remember. Because I admired him so much growing up, I took it to heart. It would sting even more than the spankings I got, and I got some, believe you me. I bet many of you can relate to trying to please the parent you admired, even if it meant doing things you didn't want to or had any importance to you. I craved his approval so much, I'd be walking on air when he gave it. I was so blinded by my admiration that I didn't even bother to question if I actually was selfish, nor did I notice who he really was. Years later, when I finally connected the dots, it was too late. I was deep in resentment, insecure, and living a lie. The road back was 20 years long, and if you stick around and listen carefully, I'll save you much of the pain and time it took me, if you do the work. Before I continue, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so by clicking the subscribe link below. It's free and would be much appreciated. You may also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Let's face it, growing up, most of us can probably agree that the definition of selfish we know and learn to hate is the one which reads, concerned primarily with one's own interests regardless of others. Throwing the grimace on the face of the accuser, and down we go into psyche hell. When we first hear it, we likely have no idea what that really means, nor do we bother investigating the accusation. We just go into survival mode and get all defensive, trying to protect our bruised ego. And over the years, like Pavlov's dogs, we become conditioned to react the same way every time we hear the word. If you don't know who Pavlov was, he was a Russian psychologist whose famous salivating dog experiment is the one I'm referring to. For decades, I walked around with the notion that I am, well, selfish, and no matter what I do, that's what I am and destined to remain. I tried hard not to ask for anything, and if I accepted help, it was painful because I immediately thought I was being selfish and felt like a failure for not being able to figure that one part out. There came a point, though, when continuously putting out for the wrong reasons got old, and I got sick of pretending that I genuinely wanted to say yes all the time and that everybody else's wish was my command just so everyone would like me, which, believe it or not, I actually thought was possible. And that's when I discovered the magic mask. No, not the one we wear to repel the almighty corona or the one Batman wears to fight villains. I'm talking about the oxygen mask. No, not that one either. The one you hope you never have to use at 35,000 feet. The one you are specifically told to make sure you put on first before you help someone else put on their face, including your own child. At the time, knowing me, I'd be walking down the aisle as the plane is diving, trying to help everyone else first, just not to appear selfish. Every self-improvement coach I work with, guru I watched or read, as well as my friends and colleagues, kept using this analogy ad nauseum until it finally started to make sense and I could begin the work to reversing this misconception and let go the notion that looking out for my interests and being selfish is wrong. I can share unequivocally that it wasn't that cut and dry, and I often looked like a deer in a headlight when it was time to say no, ask, or accept help. But, like anything else, over time, with common sense and compassion, I found an equilibrium that gave me the breathing room to do more for myself, which, magically enough, made giving more genuine and enjoyable. Not to mention that saying no didn't make people dislike me, but rather respect me. And with that, I began to build something I sorely lacked: confidence. Now, with any major breakthrough, it was somewhat messy in the beginning, but in time, I not only felt differently about myself, others noticed the difference too. And rather than being criticized for it, I was instead appreciated for my candor. I set boundaries for myself. When I gave willingly, and when I refrained, I didn't waver. The biggest eye-opener was who supported me in my selfishness and who disappeared. Those who stuck around saw me exercise self-care. For those that disappeared, I no longer had any value. For them, I was being selfish. And with people like that, as the heart scribbler says, being selfish is good, especially when you sacrifice everything for them, and when it's their turn, oops, memory loss. Caring for your interests is not wrong, it's imperative. Caring for your interests only without concern for others is being selfish the wrong way. Those who display these traits may have been conditioned to become as such, or have character traits to that effect that dominate their behavior. They may not even know or understand that they are acting that way. We can be understanding and even forgiving, but that doesn't mean we have to accept or tolerate that within our space. I know I will not, and will walk away long before they extract the self-serving value they seek from me. That is a far cry from who I was all these years ago. By exercising self-care, it gives me the opportunity to care for the interests of others, but not at the expense of mine. I give not because I seek to extract value from those I choose to give to, but because the value to me is in the giving and providing value to others. It's freeing to me to give without expectations because it frees me from being disappointed and harboring resentment. It's all on my terms, and for which I take full responsibility. I don't feel bad about saying no and feel great when I say yes because the objective is a win-win for all or not at all. To me, that's being selfish the right way. I can say with conviction that adopting this mindset has been liberating beyond my wildest imagination. The people in my life have the same mindset. We honor and respect each other's boundaries and space, and when in it, share and receive in abundance, and because we have the freedom and security of our circle, we all feel confident, abundant, and safe to be selfish the right way. We all understand Eleanor Brown's words when she said that self-care is not selfish, as we cannot serve from an empty vessel. Being released from my father's label was one of the greatest achievements of my life. I no longer need his approval, nor anyone else's. Replenishing my vessel is a priority, and one which allows me to serve from a place of abundance and clarity, and sends a message of how I see and treat myself, and expect and want to be seen and treated. The great Napoleon Hill once said, "Great achievement is usually born of great sacrifice and is never the result of selfishness." I dare predict the selfishness he referred to is the wrong kind. Please like, subscribe, and share this video, and let me know what topics you would like my perspective on in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.